What's up everyone, it's Cameron, and in this video, we're going to talk about some upcoming changes coming to Facebook Marketplace and what you may expect here in the coming months this summer in 2022. Now, from what I'm seeing, these changes will take place around July 18th, 2022. Now, that should be plenty of time for us to kind of prepare and get our items ready if we need to do anything at all. So don't be too worried. We're going to dive into these. They're not like store-killing changes. They're nothing crazy, but it's just part of our shops and stores evolving and us having to kind of evolve with that process. Facebook's trying to make things better, and these changes are bound to happen. So let's talk about them. Change number one to be expected is that your item description cannot match your item title. You don't really want it to do that anyway, so this isn't a crazy change, but for those of you who may be a little lazy, like myself, or using automation where it's really not getting descriptions. I don't know if any of the automation service, the one FB and Fox, which is the one I use, doesn't do that, but I don't know if you're using one that maybe only copies the title to the description. I know when I first started dropshipping on Marketplace, sometimes I would do that. I would just copy the title and put it in the description just so that the keywords matched. And then I just was like, maybe I'll copy paste something, but they're just telling you it's probably more for lazy sellers and crappy automation. They really want you to encourage details in your description so that when a customer sees the title, they're enticed to click, and then they look at the description and find more information that completes the sale for them. All right, the next change, image size for your images. They are saying that the images need to be 500 by 500 pixels. Shouldn't really be an issue. Most photos that we're scraping from other posts from eBay or Amazon or Walmart, they're already gonna reach this requirement. But this may kind of cut down on people using lesser automation services that may just screen cap photos at really low resolution and put them on there. It will also keep from people who just are listing bad posts that aren't really attractive for people who are manually selling actual items as well. You can imagine that Facebook doesn't want really low image quality on posts, and it's gonna bring down the whole user experience, and it's just not gonna create a good atmosphere for the marketplace. So most of us probably don't have to worry about this, but you may look into your photos if you think it might be questionable. I went ahead and just checked a couple websites, Walmart, Amazon, eBay, just to see what their kind of average image size was. I was getting a lot of like 1500 by 1500 pixel sizes, so don't worry about it too much. It's probably not too big of a deal. Just keep an eye out, because sometimes we all will post something if we use an automation or if we post ourselves and the photos we got kind of sucked. This also may be a way to keep track of using review images. Saving review images from a lot of those websites sometimes aren't the best quality, and especially if you're having to screen cap them because you can't actually click and save them, that might be where we run into a little bit of trouble. But I haven't really looked at the sizes of other things. I just thought about that as I was talking, so might not be an issue still. I just know that there's been a couple times where I've had to screenshot some sketchy pictures, so make sure that you're keeping track of that. If needed, maybe, I really don't see most of you guys needing to do any of this. I have the softwares already because of my production situation, but I know you can always go into things like Photoshop and other photo platforms and re-export photos at a higher pixel quality. Now, it's not gonna make the picture much better, but it's actually gonna just stretch it and make it the size needed for the system to kind of read it as 500 by 500 pixels. I don't really recommend going into that much work just to make a crappy picture work. So if for some reason you run into that, maybe Google that product and try to find better images somebody else posted from another platform and just scrape those to use in your posts. All right, the next change is your description cannot contain any links. Now, I don't ever run into this. I don't know if any of you guys as dropshippers do this, but maybe this is actually because there are some people who do post like Venmo links or PayPal links or links to their Shopify store or something like that. They're really trying to cut down on links, directing people out of the platform. Facebook's whole goal is to keep people in their ecosystem. So they're really not too keen on making sure people jump outside of their playground. That was a stupid description. They're really not too keen on getting people out of Facebook. Let's be honest. We all know that. It's not too big of a secret, but they just don't want any links. It's as clear as that. I shouldn't need to tell you anymore. Don't put links in your descriptions, even though I don't know why you would. Now, for the next thing, there's going to be a list of categories that require an item size to be input. Whether you're on Marketplace or Shops, I'm assuming it's going to affect both. this may just become a required field for things like furniture and gardening stuff, or just anything that would come in a size people would directly want. So this field might not be optional anymore. Now, this may pose an issue for some automation services that we all use, like FBM Fox, AutoDS, Z-Drop, all of those guys that you guys all use. I use FBM Fox as always, and I imagine at some point they're going to have to change something to where if there's a size involved, it auto-pastes the size no matter what. So I don't know how that works. I'm not part of them. I don't code and do all that amazing stuff, but I imagine this is going to pose a new kind of obstacle that they just need to figure out, because if we do have to automatically put sizes in for items, then automation services like how I use the bulk upload feature, if it's not uploading those things, those items aren't going to be approved, and I'm going to run into like half of my items being approved. So I'm sure that's going to be a fix coming up. We got 2 months to figure it out. Item sizes are now going to be required for items that would normally take a size. So that's one of the changes as well. Now, the last thing that they mention is an issue with items that are out of stock longer than 2 months. So it doesn't really say what they're going to do if it's out of stock for longer than 2 months. I imagine they're just going to like make it unnoticeable or something, like just like kick it off of the system, but maybe it'll still show up on your end, or it'll come up with a little flag or something. All it really says is if your item is out of stock for more than 2 months, make sure to update the quantity and availability of the item. It doesn't really say, here's what we're going to do, or it's not allowed. It just kind of like says a statement. So not really sure, but I imagine they're just going to like kick it out and it's going to be like not listed anymore. And then maybe you can renew it or something like that. But basically they just don't want to, I'm sure this is because of a lot of us and people who just don't manage their marketplaces and shops appropriately. They're not getting rid of old out of stock items, and it's probably clogging up a lot of space and a lot of just user interface with items that aren't any longer in stock. If that should be obvious. Yep. So really, it seems like they just wanted to get these out there to get out in front of the situation so that you were updated and you didn't have any kind of interruption of sales or momentum or traffic or any of those things. They just want to look out for their users, inform us of changes, and just make the marketplace and the shop's experience all the better for the customers and the sellers. So this is kind of I think this is a good update. I think this is something that, you know, is just an evolution of the process and a better step rather than some random glitch that they just like put out and just messed up. Now, hopefully none of these things cause any issues. They're so little that I don't imagine that we would see any kind of adverse effects from these changes taking place, but you never know. This game changes every month, and we all know that it all just comes with obstacles we have to overcome. So now that we've gone over those updates, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you want to know more about Facebook Marketplace and Facebook Shops and any updates or best-selling items, any of those things. That's what my channel goes over. There's plenty of other people out there too. Check out their channels. Make sure you have all the resources available so that when anything new comes out or somebody finds a new idea, you get all the best information. So I would love for you to subscribe again if you haven't already. Anyway, let's keep going. For those of you who have made it to the end and you drop ship here already and you are just like, oh man, I want to get a new shop going, or I'm interested in Amazon stores, I've got a guy, email me down below at the email in my description, who runs Amazon stores for people. He's running one for me right now, and he's running 2 Facebook shops for me as well. It's full automation. I just provide the funds. There's an upfront cost and we split the profit after that. Their motivation is to completely get you an ROI, and then at that point, it's just passive income after that. You don't have to run it. You don't have to fulfill orders, answer emails, answer customers, none of that stuff. They do it all. Also, if you're interested in doing everything yourself, but you just can't get a Facebook shop enabled with Marketplace or whatever, because some people are getting them enabled and some people aren't, we do have a guy who also is selling Facebook shops. We have a few available if you're still interested. They are fully enabled with Marketplace, ready to go. We hand you the keys, you fill out your own information, and then you can put your products on there and start selling and making money. So if you're interested in that, message me at that same email down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.